Sharing is something we all get. But what if it was more than just a simple act? What if it was a whole system, with different names, specific rules, and really profound rewards? Well, in Islam, it is. So let's dive into the beautiful and, kind of intricate world of Islamic charity.
And to guide us through this, we're actually going straight to the source material, a textbook designed to teach these concepts with total clarity. We're not just looking at what these ideas are, but how they're actually taught and understood from the ground up.
Okay, so you've probably heard these words before, right? Infaq, sadaqah, hiba, hadiyah. And maybe they all kind of blend together. But here's the thing. Each one has a very specific meaning, a specific intention. So what's the deal? What is the difference? That's the big question we're going to tackle today.
And here's our game plan. First, we're going to get into the two big ones, infaq and sadaqah. Then we'll look at the more personal side of things with hiba and hadiyah. After that, we'll cover the essential rules, the nuts and bolts of giving. And finally, we'll explore the ultimate rewards that make this all so powerful.
All right, let's jump right in with those first two terms. Infaq and sadaqah are really the cornerstones of Islamic charity. They might sound similar, but when you look at the definitions, you'll see there's a really important difference in their scope.
So first up, we have infaq. The easiest way to think about this one is spending your material wealth, so your money, your property, your stuff, for a good purpose that's recognized by God. It's a very specific act of giving away your assets for a cause that's considered righteous.
And the Quran paints this incredible picture to describe the reward for infaq. It's not seen as just a one-to-one exchange. It's framed as this amazing spiritual investment that just multiplies and multiplies, like one single seed sprouting and eventually yielding 700 grains. It's a really powerful image.
Okay, next is sadaqah. And this is where the whole concept of giving just blows wide open. Sadaqah is pretty much any voluntary act of goodness you do to seek God's favor. And the key here is that it goes way beyond just money or things. A simple smile? That can be sadaqah. Offering a helping hand? That's sadaqah. Even just a kind word.
So, to boil it all down, infaq is about what you give, your material assets. But sadaqah is about the act of goodness itself, which could be material or it could be something completely non-material. So you can say that all infaq is a type of sadaqah, but definitely not all sadaqah is infaq.
Now, let's pivot a little bit and get into the more personal side of giving. If you think of infaq and sadaqah as being about broader charity, then hiba and hadiyah are really focused on strengthening the connections between people, one-on-one. So what is hiba? Well, at its core, it's a pure gift. It's when you transfer something you own to someone else while you're still alive, and you have absolutely zero expectation of getting anything back for it. The ownership just passes from you to them. That's it, plain and simple. Hadiyah, though, is a gift with a very clear social purpose. You give a hadiyah to show someone you appreciate them, to celebrate something they've done, or just to build goodwill and affection. Think of it as a tool for creating and maintaining those strong bonds in a community. So the main difference, really, is all about the motivation. Hiba is about that pure, no-strings-attached transfer of an asset. But hadiyah is all about the message that the gift carries, a message of respect or love or appreciation. But for a gift to be officially recognized, especially if it's something big like a piece of property, it can't just be a casual handover. There's a really clear framework of rules and conditions that have to be met to make it valid. Let's use hiba as an example here. A valid gift is built on 4 key pillars. First, you need the giver. Then, you need the recipient. Third, you need the actual asset being gifted. And finally, you have what's called the aqd, which is basically the contract, the offer, and the acceptance that makes the whole thing official. It's a very logical process. And for the person giving the gift, the conditions are pretty common sense, really. First, you can't give away something you don't actually own. That's a big one. You also have to be an adult who's of sound mind, and maybe most importantly, the gift has to be given totally freely. No one can be forcing you to do it. And what about the thing being given, the asset? Well, it can be anything that has value, like this scooter we see here. The main things are that the asset has to actually exist, it has to have some kind of recognized value, and of course, it has to legally belong to the person giving it away at that moment.
So, we've talked about the what and the how. Now let's get to the really good part, the why. What are the ultimate benefits, the ultimate rewards for all these different kinds of sharing?
Well, the benefits that are outlined are incredibly holistic. This isn't just about getting a reward in the afterlife.
Giving is believed to actually increase your wealth here and now, to act as a kind of shield from harm, to soften your heart and make you more compassionate, and of course, to build a stronger, tighter community.
And this really captures that bigger picture. The impact is huge, and it's felt everywhere. You've got high spiritual growth for you as an individual, you've got high community strength by connecting and supporting each other, and you've got high worldly blessings, which could be anything from more sustenance to protection from hardship. It's a win-win-win situation.
And let's not forget this amazing number. Remember that seed? A single sincere act of charity could be rewarded 700 times over. And as the Quran says, Allah gives manifold increase to whom He pleases. It's just this profound reminder of the immense value that's placed on generosity.
And check out this teaching from the Hadith. It frames charity in such a powerful way. It's not just a good deed, it's presented as a spiritual shield, something that can literally extinguish divine wrath and protect a person from a bad end. Now that is a pretty profound motivation to give.
So, after going through all these different forms, from the structured giving of infaq to the personal, heartfelt gift of a hadiyah, it's interesting to just think about our own lives. Which of these acts of sharing really speaks to you the most, and what role could it play in your world?